If you've been bouncing between random hockey workouts all summer and wondering why you're still not faster on the ice, here's how to fix it within the next 30 days coming into camp. Look, when it comes to getting faster, a full offseason is ideal, but that doesn't mean you're screwed. Much like cramming for a math test, you can still see good results if you do it the right way. If you're smart about it, within the next 30 days, you could turn heads at camp. So the main reason I'm making this is because I simply was you. When I was 16, I remember cramming for tryouts in my first ever year of U18. I was training all summer, but I was doing a bunch of random workouts that weren't making me faster. So I tried making up for lost time, going way too hard in the last few weeks, and the problem, my body simply wasn't prepared for it. I ended up straining my hip flexor in the second or third skate of tryouts, and I ended up being last cut for AAA. Now that you understand the risk of training the wrong way, let me walk you through exactly how I'd structure a 4-week training block to not only help you catch up, but peak for camp at the right time. This isn't about doing more, it's more about doing the right things in the right order. So here's how we're gonna set it up. Within the 4 weeks, we're gonna chunk out each week to have a different focus. So week 1 is going to be foundation and prep. This is essentially building your ability to move better so that it's ready for more intense training. Week 2 is going to be focused on output, simply strength and power and how hard you can push into the ice with each stride. Week 3 is max speed and power, turning that strength into game ready speed and your ability to repeat it. Now, week 4 is simply tapering. What this means is that we're taking down how much training you're doing. That way you're not fatigued coming into tryouts. So let's get right into it. Week 1, reset and rebuild. So the main reason we're starting here is because if your body isn't moving properly, your muscles and joints can't handle what's coming next, you're gonna break down. So the first thing we focus on is building sprint technique. When it comes to sprinting, you wanna slowly build up, mainly because your ankles, your knees, your hips aren't used to sprinting that much. So what we typically use is falling starts. So think you're standing, and you're gonna pretend like you're falling, see how low you can get, and explode from there. Now the next thing is building stopping power. This is the biggest thing that I see a lot of players skip, and it's why they either get injured or they're slow in the ice. Building your ability to stop will allow you to change direction effortlessly. So meaning you're gonna win more races to the puck because you can stop on a dime. A good exercise for this is using depth drops, going for 3 sets of 8 reps. Now the next thing is single leg strength. When you're skating on the ice, you're skating one leg at a time. And if one leg can't handle the force that's going into the ice, that's gonna be a big problem. So we first address this within this phase to build balance between your right and your left leg using things like split squats. Now the final thing is building your aerobic base. The main reason we do this with your conditioning is if you can't go the entire game without slowing down, that's a problem because your speed will drop off. So what this does is allows you to generate energy for the entire game and recover faster between shifts. So we'd use intervals like 90 seconds on with 30 seconds of incomplete rest. That way you can build that capacity needed to go the entire game. Now the next thing is output. Like I said, we're building strength and power. So how hard you can push into the ice with each stride. With the sprint work, we're getting a little bit more specific, focusing on accelerating from a low position. The main reason behind this is when you're accelerating on the ice, your knee is heavily over your toe, and we want to mimic that within the sprints. That way you're training that specific quality. Now the next thing is building explosive horizontal power using broad jumps. Much like the sprint work, we're training that deep position that your shins are in. That way you can accelerate faster on the ice. Now the third thing is heavy strength work. We use trap bar deadlifts, for example, going for 4 sets of 5 reps. This is building how hard you can push into the ice using your legs and your core. Now the last thing is building lactic conditioning with 20 seconds of all-out sprints followed by 60 seconds of rest. What this is doing is improving the power you can output through each and every shift. That way you can push harder for longer during your shifts. Now week 3 is max speed and power. This is where everything starts coming together. You're moving well, you've built strength, and now it's time to convert that into max speed on the ice. Within these last 2 phases, think we're doing less reps, more rest, and higher quality reps with each and every exercise. With the sprint work, we're doing very similar positions that you are in when you're skating. So we're using side standing starts. We're mimicking that lateral push off while you're on the ice. Next thing is we're using depth jumps to build reactive power. So think of you're dropping off a box, then you're jumping immediately. The main goal is minimal ground contact time, meaning as soon as you touch the ground, you want to explode up. What this is doing is allowing you to build that reactive power. So with each and every stride, it's going to be fast into the ice, then quickly recover. The next thing is using loaded jumps, same thing. We're using lightly loaded dumbbells and trying to get max height with each and every rep. Now, the last thing is repeat sprint ability, using sprints going for 10 meters with 30 seconds of rest. Now that we've built your power output, we're building power repeatability so you can repeat that all shift long and all game long. Now, within week 4, we're focusing on tapering. All this means is that we're taking down how much training you're doing and maintaining the intensity. Now that we've built the engine, it's time to remove fatigue so that you can actually feel fast on the ice. When it comes to the sprints, much like the previous phases, we're focusing on hockey-specific movement. That way you're ready to take it onto the ice. So we're using crossover to sprints. The next thing is building change direction power. Simply by using things like lateral hop to box jumps, we're just building power in multiple directions. With explosive work, we use a lot of med ball rotational tosses, building rotational power that you could take directly into your shot. Now, the last thing is we're focusing on recovery with conditioning. We dose in tempo bikes or tempo jogs going for 15 to 20 minutes at about a 7 out of 10 intensity. The main reason behind this is we're basically flushing out your muscles of all the byproducts you've built up from all this hard training so you can recover better coming into camp. After these 4 weeks, you'll feel dialed in coming into camp. But the biggest mistake I see players make after peaking is dropping off their training once the season starts. But here's the truth. Your speed is like a skill. If you stop training it, within 7 days, it'll start to fade. So rather than dropping off training completely, shift into a maintenance schedule during the season. So with my athletes in particular, I have them doing 1 to 2 strength sessions earlier within the week, then I have 1 power or speed focus sessions closer to game day. The main reason we've set it up like this is that we base everything around fatigue during the season. Because if you're tired, you're gonna kill your performance. By setting up your training like this, these are the results I get with my athletes. So this message was just under 4 weeks on our condensed off-season program. As you can see, Alexandros, he joined us about June 19th, and he sent us this message on July 16th. Just from a condensed off-season program, we can see this amount of results. And if you're wanting a fully custom program to get faster coming into camp, you can check out our coaching application within the description below.